What's up, and welcome to the No Ceilings podcast on the Turtlesmith network. How's it going, Vincent?
Hey now, say now. It's going good. How
Hey
you doing?
now, say now.
Hey now, say now.
What that mean?
Do you really want to know?
I do.
It means hello.
Oh, that's simple enough.
It means
Hey now, say now.
Turn around and see what you're missing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Vincent got his own language, y'all. So.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, welcome to this episode of the Turtlesmith No Ceilings podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about grants.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know a lot about grants. They don't know where to look for a grant. They don't know how to get a grant. A lot of people don't know very much. And so today we just wanted to take just a few moments just to give you a little bit of information and insight on what to do, where to find grants. And of course, it's going to vary based on where you live. And how you can get grant writers and that kind of thing. So with that being said, let's jump right in.
Let's jump right in like the swimming pool in this thing, man.
So I can't take him seriously today, y'all. I can't not. Oh my God. All right. So where to look for minority business grants? Mm-hmm. We really want to kind of hone in on, women and minorities. And so one of the first resources that we have are the Minority Business Development Agency. They offer grants and resources, and networking opportunities. So if you get the chance, take the opportunity to research them and see if you can find something there. You can also find grants with the Small Business Administration, and we've talked about them prior in previous episodes, and so definitely go there. And one of the biggest resources is the Grants.gov. It is just a large database of federal grants, and you can filter by eligibility. So there's a lot of information there that you can use. Those are your government grants. Then you want to talk about the private and corporate grants. And so you can find a lot of those with the National Minority Supplier Development Council. They connect with minority-owned businesses with corporate opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. You also have the Federal Small Business Grant Contest, and that's open to diverse entrepreneurs. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you're trying to do. Get on there and see if you can find something. What about you? Have any that you want to touch on?
Not any in specific, but when I first, many moons ago, when I first thought about business and all that stuff, and was trying to figure out funding and stuff like that, grants was always something that I heard about, but it was always like kind of mystic, you know what I mean? It was like, you hear about it, there's stuff that you got to do and you got to write it and all this stuff, but that's about as far as it would go, unless you just really went down the rabbit hole and you really wanted to find this grant. And just talking about after you find these grants, you need to find the best thing for you to do. Your next step should be to find someone to write that grant for you, because that's the most intricate part of this process, is getting that grant written in a way that you'll receive that money.
Absolutely. And also know that there's deadlines on it. So
excellent.
I think that people who are grant writers, they probably have some type of project management system that they follow in order to ensure that they are meeting the deadlines in order to get that grant in, especially if it's something that grant that they are consistently applying for. I know that if you work for a governmental agency or a nonprofit, those grants are extremely important, and you've got to meet those requirements, or you may not have funding to continue to operate within that particular business.
Absolutely. And something that just comes to mind while we're sitting here talking about it is, I wonder how much easier or how much artificial intelligence has helped this grant writing process. That's something I haven't even thought about until we started doing this episode.
Yeah. That's actually pretty good to. I mean, that's something to research and figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that it helps with efficiency for sure.
Absolutely.
You know. So let's talk about some of the freelance platforms that are available for people to find grant writers, because
Okay.
a lot of people don't just know where to find a grant writer. You may know somebody that writes grants. I know I do. But you can find grant writers on platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, and even LinkedIn. I know on LinkedIn there is a company called WellWorks. They have grant opportunities there. So I think it's WellWork. Is it WellWork or Works with an S?
Work.
WellWork. And so I talked to someone who kind of gave us that information about that company on LinkedIn. So definitely get on there and take a look at what they have to offer. You can also find grant writers just by going to the professional association, the American Grant Writers Association, and they are AGWA. If you want to just type that in and see if you get anything on their website there, but also the Grant Professionals Association, which is GPA. You can find information on them as well.
And once you do find those grant writers, just a few questions that you should have just off top. Number one would be, what's your success rate with minority business grants?
Yeah, that's a
And
good
then
one.
can you provide references from your past clients? And also you want to know what that fee structure is like, because they're kind of different. They kind of, just like with any business, they can charge based off a percentage or a flat rate for either way, so they can go from anywhere from $50 to $150 an hour or up to $5,000 per grant application.
Yeah.
That's pretty hefty. But Calvin was mentioning before we started this episode, he brought up a very valid point. If you were getting a loan and you had interest on that loan, you had to pay that back, you're going to pay some type of fee on that money either type of way.
Yeah.
Whether you're getting a loan and you have to pay interest, or you have to pay someone to write this grant for you to successfully receive that funding, that you essentially don't have to pay it back.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It costs to be the boss. You got to pay what you weigh, So it take money to make money. I could do this all day long, but the fact of the matter is that you're going to pay to get to your success that you want to receive.
Absolutely. I think another thing that is very important too is just making sure that you understand what the requirements of the grant are. We didn't really talk about this, but people are looking for funding, but do you meet the requirements?
Right.
Of that particular, you don't want to waste your time going through and having somebody write a grant and you're paying them and you don't even meet the requirements.
Man, stop, because you just made my brain just go all the way to the left that way. Because do you qualify for a lot of things?
Yeah. And so really,
you got to be honest with yourself though when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway,
you really do your research, man. Really take the time to do your research. Make sure that you know what you're looking for before you secure a grant writer. Make sure that you understand the grant process. I think that is super important.
Absolutely.
And then also there may be. I always seem to find myself sending people back to Facebook. There may be groups that, can help you understand grants a little bit better.
Right.
Or groups that are out there that can refer you to resources for grants or grant writers. It all varies by state and by the type of grant that you're looking for, whether it's a government grant or private or corporate grant or a nonprofit grant. You just want to make sure that you know all of the ins and outs of that.
Absolutely. And if you are, or somebody that does write grants, please drop that information in the comments. We would love to use that information and pass it on to people that can really use that.
Absolutely. And don't forget to utilize the resources that you have on Turtlesmith.com. So
Duh. Stupid.
So if you like this episode, if you like the information that we provided, if you don't like it, if we're wrong, whatever, drop information in the comments, like, share, subscribe, tell us we're not crap, whatever you feel. But also don't forget to go to turtlesmith.com for more information. All right. Thank you for joining us in this very short episode, but there's not much that we can do to provide you with straight to the point information. So take care.
That's right.